Hey y'all, and welcome to day 32 of my 100-day challenge. I'm so excited that you're here. If you do not know me, my name is Dayana, and I'm an operations and growth strategist. So what I do is I help six-figure female founders to be able to scale their businesses through building high-performing teams and automating their systems and processes. So let's get into it. I know today there's a different view on the screen because you all are not used to seeing that, especially if you've been watching my videos for a little bit of time. But just stay with me. I promise everything is going to be really, really similar. We're just going to be going over a presentation today, and I want to have a visual aid for you because I do think that that will help. So we're going to be going over one of my special and favorite things that I learned from one of my colleagues. She worked for a completely different company, but we were just chatting, and she told me like, hey, this is something that I use in my team. And I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. Like, this is great. So what it is, it's the 1-3-1 problem solving method. And what this is it's teaching your team how to be resourceful. And oftentimes we have team members that might come to us with problems and problems and problems and problems and problems. And then you get sick and tired of it, especially as the leader. You want to make your team as efficient as possible. And so you want them to learn how to creatively come up with different solutions. That might not just be the first solution that comes to their brain is the right one. This is a way for them to be able to constructively think through the process without getting lost in the sauce, and to be able to get feedback from the different stakeholders that are involved. So stakeholders are people who may have some type of vested interest in it. They might not, I know some people think of it as like, oh, it sounds like an investor. No, it's not. It's just someone. If I am a part of a customer service team, the sales team would be one of my stakeholders because they are sending people to me to be able to fulfill on the service. So that's just a little bit of a background on that. But anyways, let's get into the 1-3-1 problem solving method. So like I said, resourcefulness is so key right now. And it's important that we have this skill being developed within our teams and a part of our culture, which was something that I talked about in yesterday's video. So this is a way to be able to tackle roadblocks in a way that lets creativity solve your problems and keep moving forward. So step one is going to be identifying the one problem. So this is one. You want to be as direct to what the problem is. You want to get to the root of the problem. You don't want to be surface level. It sounds extremely simple to figure out their problem. Like, say if someone's not happy with their product and they want a refund. Okay, you might think, oh, the problem is that someone wants a refund. But no, why do they want a refund? Do they want a refund because the sales team didn't tell them about certain inclusions and that they have to pay in full before they get certain inclusions? Is it that the customer success team did not fulfill properly or within a timely manner? We need to get down to the root cause. And so we don't just want to look at surface level. You should be able to continue asking, okay, well, why did they feel this way? I always say that you should go 5 whys deep. So if we say, oh, the person wanted a refund, that's the problem. Well, why did they want a refund? Well, because the sales team didn't express that they had to be paid in full before they got their onboarding call. Well, why did the sales team not do this? It wasn't a part of the sales training. Why wasn't it a part of the sales training? Well, it was something that the founders didn't put in the training. It was not included in the script. Why did the founders not put it in the script? Because the founders didn't think of it. Why did the founders not think of it? Because none of them have done sales. So see how we went 5 whys deep, and that kind of helps you to be able to figure out the root problem. Okay, well, number one, sounds like the founders need some sales training. Number two, it sounds like it needs to be implemented within the sales training for all the rest of the sales team, as well as in the sales script. Number three, now that sales script, we need to make sure that people are checking those calls, so checking the recordings of the calls to make sure that people are following the correct process so that this does not happen again. So that's identifying the root problem. Next, we're going to want to go to 3 possible solutions to that one problem. So now we're at the 1-3. Okay, so we're at the 3 possible solutions. Before you dive into the solutions, just consider whose interests you need to bring into to be able to figure out what the possible solutions could be. That's where I mentioned bringing in the different stakeholders. So with that specific scenario, we would be bringing in, now that we know it's kind of going back on the sales team, the customer service team would be original. They would be the ones trying to figure out the problem. we would need to get the input from the sales team. We would need to get the input from pretty much a sales coach, input from the sales director, and then input from one of the founders, because all of those people are going to play a role in how they want that process to be carried out. So it's important that everyone is a part of that process as much as possible. Obviously, the founder might be extremely busy, might not be able to do it. We get that, but we want as many people who are actually involved in the process. You don't need the entire sales team. Just have one person, maybe your top performer, to be a part of it. That way you have a more well-rounded view of what is actually happening throughout the entire process, because everyone has different viewpoints within it. And then step 3 is going to be formulate your one recommendation, your one recommended solution. When we're using this type of methodology, this is going to be presented to you as the leader. Okay, so the 1-3-1 problem solving method is they're going to give you their recommendation. This is their recommended solution. Does not mean you have to take it, but you want them to have a recommended solution. That's why it's called just a recommendation. So now we're at the 1-3, the last one. This is where we really just have to give our teams the authority and the autonomy to be able to come up with the solution to bring to us. So they're going to come to us and they're going to say, hey, this is a problem that we had. We thought of 3 different solutions, but the recommended solution that we have to this problem after speaking with XYZ individuals who are all involved in the process is going to be this. And so to kind of piggyback off of the previous example that I gave was they would most likely, number one, hire a sales coach or a sales mentor to be able to mentor the entire team, including the founder, so that everything starts at the top and continues to go throughout the organization. And then they're going to immediately implement the part within the sales training of, okay, you have to be paid in full to be able to get this specific inclusion. So that's going to immediately be incorporated. And then on top of that, the sales director is then going to have to add on another, or if there's a sales manager in place, add on another layer of quality assurance to make sure that people are actually carrying this out. Then you might even have a last layer of protection where your customer success department, whenever they're doing their onboarding call, they'll be like, okay, and just want to reiterate that your onboarding before your coaching call, you will not get your coaching call until you're paid in full. And to make all of that make sense, then if there's ever a hesitancy from the client, that means that someone did not fully communicate. Yes, sometimes the client does not listen. We know that not everyone listens to every single word. Everyone has a very short attention span these days. But if you're doing things properly, then this will help to ease that process. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a quick example. So this one is going to be an example of the 1-3-1. So there's going to be a new policy that's going to be implemented to the entire team. There's going to be no more candy allowed in the office. Stacy, who's the department head, she feels that there should be candy in the office at all times. And then Eric, who is the HR director, feels there should be no candy at all. Now, obviously, the HR director versus the department head, they might see things a little bit differently. Stacy feels that the team loves the candy and that they'll be upset if they take it away. So her interest is because the team loves it. She wants the team to be happy. Versus Eric, being the HR director, his interest is in the nutritional well-being of the team, because with benefits and things like that, if you have an unhealthy team overall, or if there's a lot of claims being made, that can make your pricing go up next year whenever you try to renew. And so being that they both have two completely different perspectives on things, their 3 different solutions would be there will be no candy, or there will be candy in the office only on Fridays. There will be candy in the office on Wednesdays and Fridays, or there will be candy in the office Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Obviously, limiting it from having 5 days a week to none at all might be a little bit harsh. So they end up discussing the pros and the cons of all 3 solutions. They seek to understand each other's perspectives and finally make a decision on selection B. So they meet in the middle and decide to allow candy in the office on Wednesdays and Fridays. This is a really good option for being able to help to kind of bridge the gap so that no one feels like that they're not being heard. And maybe there's still a plan to actually have no candy in the office, but we're just slowly moving in that direction instead of just taking it away completely. So I really hope that this was extremely helpful for you. The 131 method, I absolutely love it. It is a great problem solving method to incorporate into your company culture. And one of the things I even loved was including it into my onboarding process. So anyone new to the company knew that this is what we operated off of. So don't come to me with a bunch of problems. Come to me with a problem followed by a solution, because it'll be a lot more productive for our conversation. But again, if you found this helpful, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.